Welcome back. The color is still very much green, though we are not quite at the highest point of the day. Pressure, as Anuj was also pointing out, on auto stocks. iShares in particular, the weakest link on the Nifty right now, with a cut of 2.5%. Sudeep Bandyopadhyay, Group Chairman of IndiTrade Capital, is now with us on this leg of the show. Sudeep, good afternoon to you. Auto stocks, would you buy the dip?
I think we need to be extremely careful. Look, the numbers which are expected tomorrow are not likely to be anything different, anything great. There is a significant pressure on the numbers. I think the way the things are panning out, the best case scenario is pick up in the numbers from maybe the third quarter beginning. So October, November is the time, Diwali, Dussehra, that's the time probably we'll see a pickup in numbers, not before that. There is a whole lot of pain to be undergone before that. Eicher Motor, you were just talking about, has got a different set of issues. The commercial vehicle manufacturers have got a different set of issues. The two-wheeler guys are battling the slowdown in the rural markets and probably a little bit of fatigue on part of the consumers. There is a whole range of issues. So I'll be probably advising a bit of caution on the entire auto pack. If somebody is keen to buy an auto, I think Maruti is a good bet at current levels. You have to wait, but you can make your entry into Maruti at this stage.
Okay, Maruti perhaps could be the stock to watch or could be a good entry right now. That's the word from Sudeep. Just looking at some other names right now, the PVR is a stock which is making highs of the day. I'm just pointing out about some of the stocks, making some expiry moves. So obviously that's PVR that right now is at the high point of the day. Apart from that, a couple of other names where we've seen some moves. Tata Power, just put out Tata Power, and also DCB Bank. It's been a phenomenal series for DCB Bank, and it's ending at the highest point of the series. That's Tata Power, DCB Bank as well. Equitas is seeing some short covering after yesterday's decline. And SPI, just look at SPI, that's making a big move. So the PSU banks, good for more, even from these levels, after the kind of rally that we've seen?
Not really, Anuj. I think I'll still be a bit cautious. They have rallied quite a bit. There are a lot of expectations around the new government making some concrete move as far as PSU banks are concerned. We are talking about merger. One merger has happened. A couple of other mergers are being talked about. But the fundamentals haven't yet changed much. Yes, there has been one round of capitalization. NCLT process is also moving pretty well, and some of the recoveries will start reflecting in the books from probably the next quarter itself. That's good news. But having said that, we believe that fundamentally the management and the capital structure of these banks needs to be re-looked at, revamped, and that's not happened. So yes, you can get a valuation pick, and maybe because of the low valuation, some amount of money can be made by buying at a low level. But if you're a long-term investor, I'll still advise caution. If you are really keen on PSU Bank, you can go and buy State Bank. I think it's a fantastic bank. It's been beaten down significantly. It's moved up from those levels, but still there is significant opportunity of making money by buying State Bank and waiting for a year and a half.
Okay, some interesting moves in the mid-cap market as well. Let's just pull up Praj Industries. It had a sharp upswing, and then there's a bit of profit-taking that's coming through. These are some of the stocks that are catching the eye. Some of the financial names, that's Praj, some of the financial names have been good today. Edelweiss, for instance, is up about 5%. So these are some of the names on the upside that catch the eye, at least for the time being. On financials, what is the advice now within the non-bank space? Which are the one or two stocks that you would be willing to back, Sudeep?
Well, I think, Bajaj Finance is a no-brainer. It's a great buy. The valuation is elevated, but, if you want to play financials and you want to be very, very safe, you should buy Bajaj and sit on it. But leave aside that, I think the entire sector is facing a severe liquidity crunch. This liquidity crunch needs to be resolved by the joint intervention of government and the central bank. It's a matter of time before this gets addressed. And once this is addressed, we strongly believe that the financials definitely will make a strong comeback. And under the circumstances, if you're an aggressive investor, I think an Edelweiss or the Capital First is a good buy.
Okay, that's Berger Paints numbers. Not looking good. EBITDA number, margin is 14.4% versus CNBC-TV18 poll of 15.2%. Look at the profit number as well. 111 crore versus CNBC-TV18 poll of 128 crore. So a bit of a top-down miss is what you have from Berger Paints. Sudeep, any thoughts on how to approach names like Berger Paints?
Well, I think there is a bit of an issue with the demand scenario, and that is getting reflected in their paint company numbers. Particularly the guys who are into automotive paints and segments related to that are going to suffer for some time because of the slowdown in demand in the automobiles. Also, the general consumption slowdown is affecting the paint companies. So I'll be a little cautious. On the other hand, the oil prices are looking a bit stable compared to the volatility they witnessed recently. So that's augurs well for the paint companies where the main raw material comes from the oil. But by and large, if I have to buy an oil company, probably I'll stick to Asian Paints. It is at an elevated valuation, but I think it's a fundamentally very, very strong business, and I will stick to Asian Paints at this stage.
Berger Paints is now rallying, in fact, from the low point of the day, and this could be because from market's point of view, the market's now looking at forward move, and crude prices are down now,
off quite a bit,
and this is not a shocker of a number, and the stock's already corrected from the highs. So that explains why and overall it's still growth. EBITDA has gone up about 6%, 211 crore versus 200 crores, and in the past also I think we've seen the stock stabilized somewhere around here. So that could be one reason that from the low point, the stock is seeing a bit of a buying, because the market's looking forward, and this crude price going forward from next quarter would not be as much of a worry. And revenue also is quite okay actually, 1472 crores. Slight miss is what you have, but not a shocker.
It's not horrendous.
It's not a horrendous number. It's a okay number. And I think that's why you're seeing
and that EBITDA miss, as you're discussing, Anuj, I mean, that's exactly what I was looking at the line items. It's really cost of materials. That's the basic place where the expenses have gone up. And if that reverses with the fall in oil prices, and perhaps, and of course, if demand starts coming back, then that's a different play altogether. Right now, Berger in positive territory. On that note, let's bring you up to speed with an interesting conversation that we had. Shares of West Coast Paper have been gaining on news that the company is going to buy out International Paper at a price of 275 rupees a share. Now, that's a steep discount to the market price of 420, that is International Paper's market price. The open offer, however, the good news for retail investors, for the minority investors, is that the open offer is going to be closer to the traded market price and not the price at which the deal has been conducted. So how does this work? What's the rationale? Well, here's a conversation with the management of the company to understand it.
Actually, the deal, yesterday we have signed the share purchase agreement with the International Paper APPM. In that we will be acquiring 51% minimum and maximum 60% share at the 275 rupees. And we will be going for a public open offer.
We know that, Mr. Sharma.
Yeah.
Mr. Jain, sorry, we know that. I'm asking, why is this deal happening at 275 rupees per share?
No, we understand that the minority shareholder is getting 450. But why is the deal between the two parties happening at 40% discount?
Yeah, madam, this is based on the negotiated price which you worked out on a various parameters actually.
In 2011, the deal had happened at far higher prices, and since that time, the paper industry is actually in a better place than it was in 2011.
Yeah. So many parameters, plant, industry, so many parameters which we worked with our consultant, and then we arrived on that price actually.
No, give us 2 or 3 parameters, sir, for just to understand. Okay, plant, has there been any deterioration in the plant from 2011?
Demand. It's an old plant.
Okay.
It's an old plant actually.
Demand, is there any, are you seeing actually slowdown in demand compared to 2011? That doesn't look to be the case?
No, that doesn't look to be a case.
No, but you mean the market mispriced the plant, mispriced the stock so much? The market doesn't know the correct price of the stock. Is that what you're saying?
Madam, this is based on our negotiations, as I mentioned, on various parameters which we discussed in the international paper. Based on that, this price has been worked out.
Mr. Jain, I tell you where this issue arises, because it's got a history, right? You earlier had this company, then you had transferred it to the Bangurs, and then it had gone to international paper, and now you're sort of taking the control back. Still not able to understand why there's 40% discount to the market. I can understand 10-15% discount, and it's not as if the stock has had a big rally. In 2011, the deal had happened at a price which is higher than this current market price. So it's not as if it's way overpriced. I'm looking at the price earnings multiple. It doesn't look like a very overpriced asset. So not adding up this 275 rupees price. Give us the one or two parameters. Just give us the one or two parameters why this deal was worked at 275 rupees.
Actually, as mentioned to you, like the plant, that is the main thing. Actually, it's an old plant. The small machines are there. There's so many things that, like, going forward, we may have to make a big investment in that. So all those factors which we have done. Like in my West Coast plant, I have made a investment of 1,500 crore for putting up a new machine. Okay. So all those things which we have factorized actually.